Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Just getting set up here. So, continuing on the work we've been doing on the Prism stuff. Dan's already called me a slacker. Thanks, Dan. Dan. Hey, John. Hey, Dan. How you guys doing tonight? I am in the middle of a rebase here, and to be super honest, first thing I need before I do this, before I continue with this rebase and merge, missed Prism 8 Preview 1? Shit. All right, first order of business, beer. So this is a Ochame green tea IPA. And from a little brewery called Godspeed near my home. And yeah, I found this one is kind of, it's got varying consistency. It's pretty hazy. But I don't think it's always like this, which is kind of interesting. It's the thing with craft beer, not always quite the same beer. These guys are pretty consistent though, it's kind of unusual. Anyways, cheers. Green tea IPA. I don't know how blurry that is. It's pretty blurry. It's good. Okay, so I'm in the middle of a rebase, and when it comes to my git foo, rebase is my absolute weakest point when it comes to git. Now, the reason why I'm weak on rebase is because I always get confused that you have to replay all the commits and what's compared to what. Like, where am I at? I don't even know what I'm comparing to what as I'm moving through each one of the merge conflicts. So I think everybody gets to live a little bit of that with me, and I'm hoping to get some help from people who are watching, because really this is something that every time I go through the process of doing a rebase, I end up, or not every time, but most of the time I go through this process, I end up bailing and just doing a merge if there's any complexity to it. So I'm hoping to actually work through that and get over this barrier, this mental obstacle I have to doing a rebase when there's some complex changes in hand. So, never done a rebase. Chase, hey. So Chase actually put together, we were working on a project together, and Chase Florell put together a really great walkthrough of how to do a rebase. At that point, I did it a bunch of times. I was getting used to it, and then I stopped doing it, and now I'm back to the point where I can't do it. So Chase says, John says my rebase foo is horrible, as in I've never done one. Dan says, can I make fun and troll instead of help? Absolutely. Yeah, we do need to get Chase some better internet. Dan says we need to get Chase better internet. And Chase says it plays each commit on top of the head one at a time. If you get a conflict, it happens at the commit. See, that's the challenge I'm seeing. So let me start from scratch here. I am actually going to cancel. I'm going to abort my current rebase, and then we'll rebase together. I don't know why I'm doing this in a different window. Okay. Let's do it over here. All right. Use a separate command window. I'm going to let this do its fun resynchronizing. Chase, you say rebase is life. Man, I know it is. I have to get comfortable with replaying these commits and figuring out how to walk through this merge. Okay, so let's go through this. Rider is doing its thing. All right, so I've got the latest in my master branch. It's all synced with the Prism repo, the upstream repo. So we're gonna git rebase master. Cool. First, rewinding head to replay your work on top of it. Applying enhancements for tab navigation, cleanup and additional testing. Refactored page navigation service and tests to use pipe delimited selected tab navigation. Using index info to reconstruct a base tree, and then we've got our two changes here, trailing white space. Warning, one line adds white space errors, falling back to patching base and three-way merge. Auto merging. So a couple auto merges, and then we get a conflict on the page navigation service. I've already walked through this, and I think I know what I'm doing, but I'm not entirely sure, so this is going to be good. Dan says, oh my god, this is so annoying. The build has been going for 24 minutes, and we still don't have build artifacts. Yeah, that's... I don't know what's going on there. That's too long. Okay, so we get a conflict, patch failed on this commit. Refactored page navigation test to use pipe delimited selected tab navigation. So I think what Chase is saying, it plays each commit on top of a head one at a time. If you get conflict, it happens at the commit. Right, so what I'm doing is at that commit that I'm replaying, I am resolving the conflict, but then the next commit comes on top and it compares, it creates another conflict. So the frustration I have is I've resolved the conflict and then I have to resolve it for every commit after that. Is that the deal? Then you get add, then you rebase continue. So let's work through this. So Chase, I'm glad you're on the stream since you are the first person who walked me through this and you did a good job at the time. Okay, it'll be good to re-up on this. So resolve all conflicts manually, then mark them as resolved with git add and git rebase continue. Okay, so I'm going to use Rider to do my compare here. I'm testing foo to get the test that generates it. Prism Uno is a long build. Makes sense, Dan. Okay, so I'm going to resolve my conflicts. So I've only got the one conflict to resolve, page navigation service. Like I said, I've done this before. I just went through this. Right. Yeah, so that's the issue I'm having, Dan. And I resolve conflicts, creates another conflict, potentially stops that future commit where you rebase created a secondary conflict. Right. So I get to that position, I go, I don't know which way is up at this point. It's confusing and disorienting to me. So hopefully I can get some. Oh, this is going to be delightful, isn't it? Trying to do this in a small window. You know what? How can I do this? Bear with me for a second. I'm actually going to move this over to my other monitor and try and share a different part of the screen. because this is not going to work in this small res. Yeah, see what I mean? Unless I can zoom out for the purposes of this. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. So I'll just shrink it. Okay, so I'd worked through this before. So I'm looking at, so rebasing. So this on the left-hand side is my code. Already rebase commits and changes. So this is the confusing part to me. So which one is coming from where is the confusing piece to me. So I guess this one has Dan's change on it. So Dan, I assume that you've renamed the container to container provider from container extension. So that's the first one. So I get it. We want to take that one. So this to me, so it's calling this already rebase commits and changes. I think that's what it's saying here. So what came in here? Clean up and additional testing. So this is in reverse. So these are Dan's changes that he made to the master, or that he merged to the master today. So this one, and then mine plays on top. This one came in without conflict. This one came in without conflict. So enhancements, clean up and additional testing. So this is the good stuff basically. And I'm not exactly sure what this is because it's already gone through and made the changes we want. So let's just start going through this. So first thing, I want to take the renamed iContainer. Cool, that's good. I'm gonna hotkey my way through this. Okay, so then the next one is around create page. So some new logic there. We're going to take that. Changing this method signature. So yeah, this is my changes over here. So Dan says technically it will work. Just made it easier because the only place where iContainer extension is actually justified to be used is from iModule initializer, since it will need to register and resolve. Everywhere else really should only use the iContainer provider. Cool. Chase, don't forget about ours and theirs. And I think this is ours on the left and theirs is on the right, I believe. So yeah, these are the changes that I recall making these, changing the method signatures to be async. So what else has changed on there? Just want to make sure that nothing else changed, because I know there was a point where I was passing a segment string around. Cool, so there it is. So Dan, further down the call stack, Dan's asking why am I making it async? It does need to be async. So when Brian and I were paired up on this, working through it, we found that some of these were actually making async calls lower down the call tree, and we were getting race condition. So we actually had to await what was going on to load subsequent pages. So I think the one that we ultimately had to make async, well, let's take a look at the PR. So I put a draft PR up earlier today. Dan and I have been talking about it a little bit. Just gonna bring that over. Where's my PR? Not there. Pull requests. It's a draft PR. So if we actually take a look at what changed there, this is a big PR. It's funny, most of the changes in this is, most of the changes in here are not actually our code, our changes to the navigation service. It's testing. Okay, so it's basically coming down the stack or bubbling up the stack, right? So down at a lower level in the call tree here. So select page tab. There's a call that was, it was returning a task. It was an async method. It wasn't being awaited, and it was causing a race condition. Which one would that be? I think it's actually tab page select tab. That's pretty low. It's gonna be impossible to find this way. Create page from segment. Trying to figure out where the source of that. You know what I should actually look for is a wait. So configure tab page, was that the one? Create page from segment. I think it might have been here. Nope. Maybe? Yeah, so we didn't change the signature for... Oh yeah, we did. Configure pages. Configure tab page. Create page from segment. Must have been that. Create page from segment was being run. Let's go back into the code and look at it there. Just gonna cancel out of this. Actually, we can navigate it through here. So create page from segment. There was a whole bunch of stuff in here that was all down the call tree. I'd have to actually debug and go through it. But I think it was the create page from segment. I think. It's funny too. This push async is not awaited in either side of the code. In short, Dan, I know there was a reason for it because Brian and I had a good look at it and ran into a race condition and had to go through the whole call tree to make sure that we didn't have any, we had a race condition because something wasn't being awaited. That was the reason for having things return async task, changing those method signatures to async task. There was something bad, not good in there. Okay, so looking at this, I'm gonna go back to this. Ha! Yeah, so there's some stuff in here that needed some. It wasn't causing problems with the before we started to add another page to the stack, and then that started causing problems. So as soon as we had, um, basically as soon as we were trying to create the tab page and then add a page to it at the same time, it was just falling apart. Unit tests were failing until we diagnosed that race condition. Okay, so let's see. This all looks all right. Let's go to the next one. Just gonna F7 through this. Cool. Wait. This one's another async. So this is a whole method that Dan has added. Good stuff. Morning, Lachlan. How are you? You got your stream tonight? Just gonna make sure we get both these in here. Lachlan, I'm in the middle of doing a rebase, and I'll probably drink extra beer because rebasing is stressful to me. Which method, Dan? Are you talking about which method did we have to end up awaiting, or the set navigation service for page method? Lachlan, week off, like it. The one you added here, so this is page navigation service, line 831. Set navigation service for page. Ah, cool. Another opportunity for review. I like it. So it's clearly like configure tab page is clearly one part of the stack. So Lachlan, just to bring you up to speed with what's going on, this is a rebase on. So Dan has put a bunch of changes into the navigation service, the Prism navigation service. I have my changes. My changes are not huge. But I did touch quite a few method signatures, and as a result, there's some conflicts, so I'm rebasing to make sure that I've got all the latest bits in there before we move forward. And I'm drinking lots of beer. Well, not yet, but I'll get there. It's been a bit of a day. Okay. Been a bit of a day, and I started the day by kind of overdoing it. Working out, I ran, and then I did a boot camp style workout, and my existence didn't like it. Yeah, gross. It's just like normally that kind of thing feels good, and lets me, start the day with some feeling good, feeling a little accomplished, but I definitely overdid it today. Definitely. See, so this navigation page push async here, I feel like this also needs to be awaited. Okay, I'm just gonna make a note of that. Oh, gross about the rebase? Well, gross about the workout and gross about the rebase. Both gross, all gross. And you know what? I woke up today and it was almost freezing here. It was just a couple degrees Celsius above freezing. It's 3 degrees Celsius. Just, that's not right. That's not right for early May. It's not fair. And the high today was like in the single digits as well. So, if we're going to be locked up inside or, locked within the confines of our homes, it would be nice to at least go outside. Oh man, San Diego. John says it's mid 90s in inland San Diego. All right, John, need a roommate or what? Coming. I've never been to San Diego. I need to get out there. It's on my list whenever we can travel again. Come visit you and Dan. Okay, so this one's awaited. I'm pretty sure it says tab page select tab. Going outside is better for you. Last I heard, the virus dies in less than 2 minutes outside, Dan says. Yeah, it's like UV exposure kicks its ass, right? It's just done. Chase 20 and sunny in interior BC. That's nice. I mean, even Edmonton's been getting better weather. Edmonton's where I'm from, basically middle of nowhere in Canada. The northernmost capital city in Canada, capital of the province. I think it's one of the most northernmost large cities in the world too. It's very cold there. Okay, so this is my logic for parsing out the string. So this is the pipe. So we can get the tab segments. So this piece we definitely want. So we're replacing, nothing's changed on the other side, so we can just full out take ours. Good stuff. What else do we got here? Tab segments, any true process navigation page. Now this is, yeah, okay. Let's keep rolling with this. Just feel like some changes are, I'm confused. Perpetually confused by the rebase. John says, rent can be paid in Xamarin Assistance. Well, not Xamarin Assistance, sure, but not rebase assistance, I tell you. Okay, so tab current page child. Yeah, because we got rid of this exception deal. And then if there are any segments, we're going to process navigation for those segments. Good stuff. This is more await fun, hasn't changed on Dan's side, so moving on. This is some, see, now, like, I even want to go and rewind again. I feel like this is tainted. So even though I canceled that rebase, and I feel like I don't have, like, this has code in it that I'm very confused at how to handle this rebase scenario. It's just still, it hasn't sunk in. So yeah, I guess I'm continuing to take from the left because the right has my previous changes from the previous commits that was already auto merged. Okay. I have to continuously think that. So these are some of the changes I had made earlier in this PR before I really had everything finalized. So I had some logic in here. Yeah, let's go with that. So we'll do, so this is how we'll work. Yeah. If I move in with you, John, just for the price of Xamarin Assistance, I'll use those savings to pay Dan to do my rebases. Right, I got rid of this. I remember this. Good stuff. Is that it? Oh, there's a few I didn't accept. So, okay. Another await. Pretty straightforward. Another await. this one? Okay, this is where it actually stemmed from. Right here. So Dan, this here. So on your branch, it would be line 637. The do navigate action. Oh, maybe that wasn't it. No. I lie. That wasn't it. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I'm trying to remember where that was. I should have made a note of that. Anyways. You know how it is with async. Becomes async all the way down, right? Or all the way up. Dan, I'm over having 2 roommates, unless it's a beautiful girl that likes to cook, among other things. Yeah. Yeah. Turtles everywhere, Lachlan says, yeah. Beer, though, guys. Beer. You know? Beer? That's really my whole excuse for doing this. Get on the stream. Talk nonsense for a couple hours. Have a few beers. 9 a.m. Well, Lachlan, you can put something in your coffee. Right? Right? Dan's way more jealous of the setup that Chase has. Yeah, Chase's setup is pretty ridiculous. If you follow Chase on Twitter, occasionally he'll post photos of his farm. Really, it was an acreage, and now it's a farm, cattle and everything. Very cool. Kegerator. John has a kegerator. Dan built a kegerator. Raspberry Pi IoT kegerator. Dan, what did you use? What did you use the Pi to measure or check or automate? I'm always interested in that. I have a friend who has a completely automated brewing system. This is just stupid white space, isn't it? What changed here? Nothing? Oh, that is bizarre. Space got inserted at the start of the file. All right. Okay, so we're good. Now I'm going to apply this. Okay, good. So have our changes. Okay. So now I need to add these files. No, they're already tracked, right? They're already tracked and staged. Lachlan, I missed my kegerator. My bedroom was next to the kitchen and the taps reached my bed. That is a dangerous situation. Dan's Raspberry Pi kegerator monitored the temp and controlled the refrigeration. That's cool. Planned to do more, but had to move. Yeah, that's what happened with my microbrew setup. I didn't even get to the point where I had anything automated. But that was the plan. Okay, so at this point, git rebase continue. All right, let's look at this. I think this is helpful to actually look at this. And here I get these little alias tips because I've got a on my ZSH plugin that gives me the alias tips for Git. And you know, some of these alias tips are great, and some of them I'm like, I'm a little nervous to actually use some of them, particularly when I'm dealing with stashing. The commands are all a little too similar, and I'm always afraid I'm going to lose my changes. Okay, applied refactoring. Remember this? Dan, I think you were on the stream for this. This is my commit message. Wrote a single unit test in 2.5 hours, but I had beer, so it was okay. Enhancements for tab navigation. Okay, we've got some stuff here. White space. Three-way merge. Page navigation service fixture. So we've got two merge conflicts in the test fixture and the service itself. Okay. Let's look at them again. Merge. And I'm going to zoom way out. Okay, so this is where I get just rocked because I just did this, right? I just went through this. I just had accepted this change. And it's back. So at this point, the right is what I want to take most of the time, I assume. And says LMAO. You do realize that will technically be in the release notes. That's excellent. That's even better. I've made a note that commit messages will be in the release notes, and I'll be careful what I do with them. I'll get creative. Okay, so we're taking the provider again. Let's move to the next. Oh, the beautiful comments are here. So let's see. Param name, navigation service. What's with this param name? Oh, it's been removed because it was wrong. So this is the await. So everything coming from the right-hand side is now what we had previously merged. Okay, let's go through this. You can see why I'm confused by this process. It's an async. Can I zoom out a little bit more? Let me see. Nope, that's it. All right. Next, another await. And what's happening over here? So this was adding a parameter. So I can't remember what ultimately happened to this next segment parameter, if we used it or not, but I'm just gonna do this. This was just an await over here. Just gonna manually put this in. Let's move on. Lachlan, can you both zoom out and zoom in, please? The text is too small to read, but also I can't see all of it. Yeah, this is the exact problem I'm having right now, Lachlan. And I can't, if I change my resolution while the stream is active to like kind of get rid of the padding at the bottom and top and some of this weird margin stuff, OBS throws a bit of a fit. So we'll try and get through this relatively quickly. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm just not missing any parameters, signature changes, good stuff. There's no conflicts on any of this. So really what I should be doing is I should just apply non-conflicting changes from the right. Let's just do that. Cool. Now let's go through the conflicts. Good stuff. Let's start back up here. So select page tab. I assume this is a signature change. Yep. Let's take from that side. Let's add our own await. Ignore that and continue on. What do we got on this one? I assume this is going to be all the same thing. Segment and segment on the left, segment parameter, and an await on the right. Okay, so take this and we will await it ourselves. Cool. Let's go to the next. The fun we have. Okay, select page tab. Is this going to be the same thing? Yep, all of this is the same thing. So async task. Now let's take the signature change and then let's make this, we'll ignore this one and make this async task ourselves. Hoping I get through this relatively quickly because this is no more fun to watch, I'm sure, than it is to Dan says, wait a second, what the hell kind of program are you using that you have to apply non-conflicts? I'm using Rider to merge, and actually, yeah, it's both good and bad, right? You can review everything coming in, get another set of eyes on it again, but yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. Those should just be auto-accepted, auto-applied. Cool. If I was using Gitkraken, I'd be done by now. I mean, I've tried Gitkraken and yeah, it was good. I don't know. I didn't find it much different from a lot of the other tools. It's funny. I think my tool of choice for merge conflicts is VS Code. I think it does a very good job. Okay, here's where things get fun. Okay, I remember this one too. So again, this is where I'm confused because I remember writing this code at the very beginning. I don't know why it's in here now. Yeah. All right, I'll give another tool a shot here, Dan. Next time I need to do this. Next, Prism PR. Yeah, I've used SourceTree, I've used Gitkraken, CLI, and VS Code. Okay, so we're going to take this logic and we're going to take tab segments any and do the processing. We'll take this logic and it'll break, and we don't want any of this other junk. We don't want this. We don't want this, unless that changes something's changing a signature here. Nope. Cool. This is all good. Good. On to the next one. We do not want this. Yeah, this was in the do push. We were checking what kind of page it was, and we don't need that anymore. That was early stages again, early prototyping work. Same with this one, same kind of thing. Somehow missed this one. What do we got here? This is segment, but not awaited. We had added the await, so we're good to go. Okay. Save and finish merging. Good. Merge this one. Dan, it also doesn't help that I'm working on like the lowest resolution screen ever created. Okay, so we're going to take all non-conflicting from right. Good stuff. I'm not going to take my stupid commented out. I don't think I actually removed that. I don't think I want any of this, do I? Holy hell. I hope. So I think this was cutting down the tests. Maybe I'm just taking a look at the method name right now. Select the tab, to content page, modal, to content page, implicit modal. Whew. Yeah, I don't think we want anything coming in from the left side here. To change my zoom level again. Guess I don't have to. We're done with that one. Cool. Back to the CLI. All right, git, rebase, continue. Regions for Xamarin.Forms should be in preview 2. Awesome. What do we have this time? Clean up and additional testing, white space errors, fixture navigation service. Okay, back to it. God, I hope this is over soon. We need another beer already. Like I'm almost done this one. Need to come with a, need to have like my Stein ready to go when I do rebases. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so we're gonna take all from the right. We know right is the correct branch. All non-conflicting changes from the right. How many conflicts do we have now? I'm gonna zoom out again. Okay, let's see. We've got an await from select page tab, and we got rid of that next segment. So what we just merged in, we're now removing in this commit. Isn't that funny? And we'll just manually kill that next segment, close that off. To the next one. It's the exact same thing. See, this is where I start getting confused again. Like, we added that in. Did we take it out? Do we need it? I don't know. Oh, navigating these changes is fun. This is probably, I'm going to take a guess that this is the best stream that anybody's ever watched. Well, you know, on the plus side, you'll see me getting increasingly belligerent through it. That beer is done. It's time for another one. Okay, after I get this file merged. Like, what is happening? I'm going to cancel this. I don't think I've done the right thing. I feel like starting over again. Dan, here's what's going to happen. Do I have Get Kraken on this machine? My CPU is not going to cooperate to get me a Get Kraken license and get set up with it at this point. How much time before you switch from porter to your flask? Well, if I had a flask right now, I would be all over that flask. My flask is downstairs and it's empty. Um, at this point, I have lost all hope in actually figuring out what's going on. So I'm going to look at my branch and see what the end product is. So we're looking at select page tab. My right-hand side has my right-hand side does not have a segment parameter, but my right-hand side has a segment parameter and right-hand side does not. What did it end up as? Source Prism core. Nope, sorry. Page navigation service. What line was that? 924 or 983, 903? We'll just search for select page tab page. Let's see. This is grueling. This is okay. So we did get rid of that again. So I added it and then I removed it. Okay, good. So I was doing the right thing. I start second guessing myself when it looks like this. When I've just merged it. So this is why I got stuck on the last rebase, because I played a commit and resolved a merge conflict where I was adding a parameter, and then I got to this point where I'm removing the same parameter I just added, and I'm going, I don't know which way is up. I'm completely disoriented because I'm just effectively undoing what I had just done. You can understand my confusion, I'm sure. I think, anyways. Seems relatable from, first-hand perspective. Okay, so there we go, and we remove the string segment. And let's go to the next one, and it's just going to be like this all the way through. I just missed one. Accidentally skipped by one. Await. This does not have segment. This one here. Yeah, we got to get rid of that segment, and we'll make sure it's not awaited. Should have waited it first. Just realized I couldn't see the chat. Okay, we're almost done here. I'm confident of it at this point. Okay, so we're going to take the async task signature, and then we're going to remove the parameter that was removed on the other side. If my machine melts at this point, I would not be surprised. It's not happy with something. I'm actually going to quickly quit. I'm going to quit the... Oh, that seemed to help a little bit. I'm going to quit my browser because that usually is what's causing most of the issue. Kill the music for a second, but that's fine. Hopefully that helped. I think that helps. I think. We'll see how it goes. Still, like, my mouse is even kind of laggy. How does the feed look? drop frames, so I assume it's okay. Okay, let's make sure that we've got that out of there. Yep, we're good. On to the next. Now this is curious. John says all good. Thanks, John. Selected tab type. So this is the stuff we want. Selected tab type. All right, parsing helper, get segment. I assume we want this. We definitely don't want that child fat. And I think you helped me get rid of that one. We were looking at that together. All right. What else do we got? I think we're almost done here. This was awaited. Yep, we're good. Okay, what about the fixture? What kind of fun do we have in the fixture? Again, I'm going to take all the right changes. Ooh. What is this? Did I remove a test? Dan, did you end up adding tests with your PR? Dan says, looks fine except for the circle in the lower right corner. Rude. It's very rude. That makes me need a drink. So I'll be back in a second. I am back. I have another beer to pour, so Dan, full screen now. Lucky you. Balmer Peak in full effect. It's really going to help me get through this rebase. So I've got this is a Lost Craft. This is another Toronto brewery. That's basically all I drink. It's called Eclipse. It's a milkshake IPA. It's hazy, hoppy, good. I'll show the can in a second here. It's got some glue on it. Eclipse. This is one of my recent staples because it was on sale. 6%. It's a good one. All right. Cheers to the second beer in, oh, that's an hour. It took me an hour to get through the first one. What is going on with my camera? It does not want to refocus. Whatever. Technology. Dan, problem is circle in the center of the screen. I'll drink to that. All right. Back to it. Let's get this stupid rebase done. Cheers, John. Get this rebase done before it kills me. Dan, did you make... Yeah, the webcam's drunk, I think. Yeah. Great minds, Lachlan. Great minds. So I don't know what's going on here with the tests. I can't remember what I did with the tests. Oh, God. So there is a navigate from content page, I'm looking at the method name on the left-hand side. Highly suggest, Dan says, I highly suggest turning autofocus off when you stream. Yeah, it's probably a good tip. But I do like how it focuses on the can when I really bring it up close. You know, and that's me having a beer or a couple of beers while I'm on the stream is an essential part of the stream to me. This is the same test. Is it not? This test looks the same. So this one has an additional test below it. Create tabs with navigation, select tab. Yeah. Cool. So, holy shit, what a long URL. This is with a param. So that's the difference. The difference is right-hand side only is one test, left-hand side, or sorry, right-hand side is two tests, and left-hand side is one test. Left and right are not friendly to me, particularly after a couple beers. Yeah, I think I'll make that change, Dan, to my cam. Turn off the autofocus. Okay. So we're good again. Back to our terminal. Git rebase continue. Oops. Let's do it. More conflicts. Feels like Groundhog Day. I mean, quarantine already feels a little bit like Groundhog Day. Get rid of that stupid change. I'm going to take everything from the right. Okay, so Dan, this is that set navigation method again. I gotta zoom out on this. Let's bring that in. And what was the signature change on configure pages here? Figure pages, nothing. Good. Good, that was an easy one. Okay. So these are the, again, you can't see what I'm typing. Just realized I've got a widget at the bottom of the screen. Come on. So this command here, get rebase continue, we can do that with an alias. Get rebase continue. Dan says I'd rather Groundhog Day because then I could cause massive trouble with no consequences. Isn't that what you already do, man? No changes. Did you forget to use git add? No. Asshole. Keep doing git status. Okay, so nothing left to stage. Chances are that something else already introduced the same changes. You might want to skip this batch. Resolve all conflicts manually. Mark them as resolved with git add. There's nothing to add. It's already resolved. So do I skip it? See, this is where I need help. Git rebase skip. Is this where we go now? Oh. The other good thing about this beer is it's a tall can. So, you know. All right, I'm going to go for get rebase skip because just skip. Oh, here we go. Okay, what do we got from after I skipped? Oh, this is my unit test fun. Wrote a single unit test in 2.5 hours, but I had beer, so it was okay. Bunch of junk. Lots auto merged. Auto merged, conflict. Hello world solution. Ah, okay. This is probably, yeah, this is going to be an easy one. So this is probably that missing dependency. Oh, the missing dependency that I added into the solution. I assume on the other branch it was added in as well. What do we got here? So let's navigate through this quickly. Oh, solution files. You are something. Dry IOC. Shared project items. I'm pretty sure that's what I had added. Let's just scan through this quickly. Solution conflicts are never a good time. Mostly because you don't know what the hell is going on in solution because they just are garbage files, essentially. I really wish they would find a better way of dealing with this stuff. I hope that comes with, holy crap, with the new, with new .NET 5, that they have a better solution system because right now, things like this just make me really sad. Again, I have no idea what's going on here. So I know all I did with my change is added one solution. So if I actually go back, let's go over to, do I have a window open? Yes. Just go back. Or not. Let's go to my PR. And let's take a look at the files changed because I want to see what I changed in the solution. So oh. Oh, it's for the Hello World solution, Dan. So I removed the UWP. Oh, it renamed the UWP. So actually, my changes wreaked havoc on this. So I think what I'm going to do, if there's a Prism IOC shared in the right-hand side, I'm just going to take the right-hand side and abandon my changes. Because I think they were intending on doing the same thing. God, it's like borders on it impossible to read though. So the UWP, yeah, so IOC shared, so and containers. So this is a new piece that needs to be added in as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all on the right. And let's see. The conflicts, we're going to ignore all the ones from the left side and only take the right. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Git, rebase, continue, rebase, continue. So, yeah, my changes are bad. Dan says my changes are bad. Okay, yeah, they are. It's Visual Studio. If you do certain things to projects and solutions, it will change the GUID of your project in the solution file and regenerate large swaths of your solution file. So it's just unnecessary noise. Okay. Looks like we're done. So now we force push, right? Is this where we're at? This is where I need help. Help. Help me, Dan. Help me, Chase. I don't know if Chase is still around in the chat. So through my rebase, everything's looking good. Now I need to push it up to my origin. And I think I need to force push, right? Because rebase is essentially rewriting your commit history. I guess before that happens, ha! John says, total cliffhanger. Good luck. Have to run. Thanks for joining, John. See you next time. Cheers. I'm gonna try building and see how bad I've broken things with a terrible merge. Cool. Oh, right. So I learned this last time, and okay. So force push, yes. I might need to add a commit too because I'm sure I broke things. I'm going to quit Rider. I'm going to open up Visual Studio. This is good. I like if this were my own repo, I would have merged and taken the lazy cheater's way out, essentially. This is a good exercise. I know this is a more sane way to keep your Git history more reasonable and avoid those merge commits all over the place. So I'm glad I went this route. I need this practice. That's part of what this stream is about, is, you know, some of these areas where I feel like just weak as far as my ability goes. Oh, Visual Studio has opened up somewhere weird. Okay, I'm going to bring this to my other screen, and then I'll bring it over. Or not, or it'll just go nowhere and hate me. I'm going to give it its own desktop. Let's do that instead. Cool, that works. So yeah, some of this is really nice practice for me to actually flex these these muscles and, or, you know, develop these muscles really, because I didn't even have my, I know the theory of a rebase. The practice part is I'm very, very weak. So it's good to run through this and really get some practice in on doing the rebase thing. And I will avoid taking the easy way out in the future. And yeah, I think new tools might help. I'll get cracking another shot. Alan Ritchie had me using it for a while. He recommended it. I used it for a while and I went, well, this is not much different than anything else I've used, any other Git UI. And then I ended up doing most work with console. So really a lot of my Git work is console based. The only time I'm not using the console is when I'm doing merges or reviewing large change sets. Sometimes going through Git history, sometimes. Let's see if this build works. My machine is just hurting. Just does not like it at all. I wonder if I can ease the strain on it a little bit. Let's see. Let's see what I can do here to kind of help my machine suffer a little bit less. A little bit less. 0 errors. What is going on? I don't even believe that. Okay, so that's a good sign. The other thing I want to do, well, I guess before we get to that, this is where I want Rider open again because I want to run some unit tests. Let's run the navigation tests here. It's been a while since I ran unit tests in Visual Studio for Mac. See how it goes. I did kind of, if you're with me last stream, I know Dan was. Yeah, Lachlan, I do run OBS on the same machine I'm coding on. And yeah, I know that's a thing that people don't recommend. There's kind of two parts or two reasons why I continue to do that. Number one, I don't have another machine at this time. I have one machine and one machine only. And two, if I did have another machine, I don't even know if I would use it because I'm trying to make this easy, right? I have it so when I start the stream, I basically fire up music, change the screen resolution, and hit start stream. So yeah, and I know it puts stress on the hardware because you're making it work with OBS. Yeah. Well, you know, I've had pretty good luck. So I'm streaming from a Mac. I'm running it all on one machine. It tends to be decent most of the time. Sometimes it gets a little slow. I think I just need to, oh, look, we're all green on tests. I am shocked that we're all green. This is not right. This is not the full suite. Navigation. There's navigation parameters, fixture. Wow, all green. Like it. Okay. Oh, interesting, Dan. So the GPU is not used on OBS Mac. I had no idea. That is interesting. So it's all CPU. Well, I guess, so one of the things I find is that if I render it in, if I have it in studio mode and I'm transitioning between scenes, I know that has some impact. I'm going to try and play with my layout, maybe a smaller screen. I'm going to bring up Activity Monitor just to keep an eye on things, even though Activity Monitor seems to be the most resource intensive application ever written for Mac OS. Yeah, OBS is definitely taking a lot of CPU, a lot. Yeah, so Lachlan, I was dragging the window around and changing the window in OBS, so that's probably why it choked. I think it's only running on like, I think it's mainly doing the work on one thread, so interesting. Okay, anyways, test run. That makes me happy. Project builds, test run. Let's try our Hello World unit tests or UI tests. See if those work. If those work, then I'll force push. Dan says that is really sad because the whole reason people always gave for using a Mac is graphics processing, i.e. the GPU, but it isn't even used by OBS, so you just get screwed. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe I'll just buy a little like Windows box, small one. My typical stream from the Mac, if I have a guest on Skype, my CPU tends to stay between 90 to 95% the entire time. Is that what happened with Jerome the other day when you were streaming? That was Friday, right? Okay, so let's make sure this builds first. Let's build it. Have some more beer. Pour the rest of mine. Dan, are you going to stream tomorrow morning? Okay, so we're building the solution. Yikes, 95% the entire time with Jerome. Jerome, one of the developers from Uno platform. Building slowly. Tunes. Cool. I still need to follow up with you on the NDI stuff. It's been hard to find time. What happened is one of my clients really cut back how many hours they wanted me working. And when the calendar rolls over, the billing cycle resets, and they basically are like, here, have all the work that we've been saving for the last 3 weeks. And I'm trying to wade through it. So it's been a little busy on my end. Today has been no exception to that. Thanks for joining, Dan. I'll see you soon. Probably talk to you later on this evening about this PR. Okay, so my Hello World project works. Good shape there. Let's build our UI tests and run them. Lachlan, you've been working on some Blazor stuff, right? On your stream? Got a couple of snippets of it. Trying to figure out if I'm going to. I've got some other non-mobile stuff that I want to stream, and I think I'm going to stream it under my own account. Lots of code sharing between Blazor and Xamarin. So one of the things I want to do on here is I don't know if you saw the Rate the Meat app that BSI Labs developed when I was there. That app is slated to be open source, but they don't even have, they won't even put the cycles into getting it to the point where it's open source yet. So I've still got access to it. I think what I'll do is, what I want to do is clean it up and get it ready to open source it. Because it's a cool app, like, and right now is a great time to work on it because nobody's physically meeting up. Maybe we can work in some features for our remote viewers. Okay, so my tests are built. I am distracted right now, trying to talk and code at the same time. Here's our tests. Good. Okay, let's run them on. Really, we want to run these 4, just not the REPL on iOS. Yeah, so that Rate the Meet app, it's just a nice little companion app for your meetup. So you put in, the organizers will put in a little questionnaire and put some prizes in, and you go through the questionnaire, and anybody who answers the questionnaire gets entered for the prize draw. And then the app, the administrators, the organizers will go through the app, and you basically tap, and it randomly selects somebody who's answered the survey to as a prize winner. So it's really nice if you've got because the way I've seen people do it in the past, organizers do it, is they'll hand out paper surveys. You're at a tech meetup, you get a paper survey that you fill out, and then they shuffle them and draw one. And I went, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I know from my perspective, I always wanted some feedback from users, or not from users, from participants, like people who would come from the community and watch the presentation and give some commentary and stick around network. I always wanted to hear what they had to say, not necessarily on the content. Some of it was, how was the venue? How did you like the food? Was it easy to find us? Like those kind of questions, and a little bit on the presentation too, just get some good feedback. And then we use it to give away our swag. So we usually had, 4 pieces of swag sometimes. Usually some software licenses, books. We had some TO Mobile Devs branded stuff, and give it away. And it was nice. It was a really useful way of dealing with it. Now there's some flaws, but because BSI didn't want to spend the non-recoverable time on it, it kind of stagnated and didn't get any more attention. Then I left, and I think BSI is not really doing. I think the labs wing has kind of wound down, and they're not really doing as much mobile anymore. So, and the intent for that app was to be open source anyways. So I think the idea is, well, I know the idea is to open source it. I've still got lots of friends at BSI, including the leadership and owners. And yeah, it's open source. I still have access to the repos, but it needs to be cleaned up. We need to get all the keys out of there. There just needs to be a little bit of an overhaul, and then it can be made, that private repo can be made public, and then we can make the fixes that need to go into it to actually make it a more productive app. And now with these virtual conferences happening and these virtual meetups happening, I think there's a whole other angle you can, and a whole other feature set you can put into those kind of apps. And really, it's cross-platform. Why not build it out for the desktop or with Blazor? We actually have a Blazor head built for it, but we were using reactive UI in that app. And at the time, reactive UI didn't have any Blazor support. So we were getting a lot of platform not implemented exceptions all over the place. These unit tests are running, and I'm very guilty of not leaving. You should just have the sim on screen. You can just watch the tests run. It's so cool. UI testing is awesome. I wonder if I can get Visual Studio to play nice with me. No. Oh yeah. Here we go. Cool, all green. Well, I got it up on screen just in time for them to all finish. You know what? I am confident that we didn't screw up that rebase. So I think it's time. Git, push, force. Moment of truth. I've done this so infrequently that I am just, my confidence level with a rebase is low. Okay. So now, hopefully this isn't a huge dumpster fire. So essentially we have our changes in a PR. This is a draft PR that I put up earlier today. It has like some very basic descriptions, a very basic description of what it does. How the API changed and behavior changed. I need to change this because we have rebased. This is my first major open source contribution to any repo of a decent size. So I'm quite proud of this. Quite happy to see this actually getting out the door. I really appreciate people tuning in to watch this. It's been great. It's been fun. So let's see. I haven't made any stream notes today. Let's get that done. And then I think that's it for tonight. I think it's a short one. Okay, so last time, what did we do? Fix the issues. Well, there weren't any issues really. We found that. So I start with an agenda before we actually start into things. And we found on Saturday that, so on Friday when I streamed, I thought there was issues. At the very end of the stream, I thought there was some issues in page navigation service, but it turns out the way the parameter I'd sent in for the URL, so if you look over here, if you look here, we're using the selected tab query parameter, and I was saying select tab, and that was basically causing it to not work. Who would have thought? So I thought it was an issue with page navigation service. Very early in Saturday's stream, I found that it was, me using the wrong parameter name. Wrote some UI tests. Great. Got that done. Right. I made a note here that this might be helpful. What is going on here? Things are not responding. Time to... Oh, there we go. Browser crash. I love it. I'm using Vivaldi, and I think I've talked about this before. It's a privacy and security focused browser. It's interesting. Anyways, it's based on Chrome. It's a Chromium browser. A Visual Studio for Mac will not build or run due to XAML-C issues. Clean, delete the output, and quit and restart Visual Studio. So that was a good note from last time. Yeah, so fix not really the XAML-C headache. Debug page navigation service found and fixed an unawaited async call. Fixed the typo in my navigation URL. Learned about iAbracadabra interface. So the which interface is it? It's I think iActiveAware inherits iAbracadabra interface, which has no member definitions on it, which is interesting. And then wrote 2 UI tests. So we basically set up the test project, that Hello World system under test, and then wrote 2 UI tests for it. That was good. Okay, so this time, what do we do? This time it was short. So agenda. So we finish PR or finish rebase, and then touch typing up pull request. So that's what we had in mind, and that's pretty much what we did. So rebase, or I'm going to call this notes. Rebase. So I'm trying to like really cement this in my head so I don't continue to struggle with it. Commits are replayed one at a time. Resolving conflict in one commit and may cause cascading conflicts in future commits. Lachlan, do you force push? Or sorry, do you force push? Do you rebase? To complete the rebase process, you must force push. You merge too, hey? I know there's a lot of people out there that really want you to rebase. I'm trying to get more comfortable with it. My comfort level of Git is high at this point. Lachlan says he only force pushes when something bad has happened. Yeah. You have to do it with a rebase, which is one of the scary parts, right? You're changing history. So I'm trying to think if there's any other notes. Might want to try or consider different tools. Git Kraken. I'm going to give Git Kraken another look. Lachlan says, I understand why they say it. They're probably right. That's how I feel, Lachlan. It's one of those things where in my own repos and project repos, nobody cares that much, but in a library, it's a little bit different. So I understand why you'd want to be trying to go about that the best way you can, but, you know, that was a lot of work for that rebase, man. That took a long time. It took me over an hour. And you know what? That didn't capture everything that I did off the stream because I was trying to get that done before I started streaming today. Um, Ideally, I wanted that handled so I could work on something a little more substantial while I was actually streaming, but no such luck. Okay, let's take a look. Notes. That's pretty much it. So, what am I going to do next stream? Next stream. So go rate the meat. I think it's time. I think that is a good way to go. So rate the meat uses Prism. I don't think it uses tabs, but it does use Prism, and Prism 8 coming out in preview is a really good reason to work that into a real app. So I think that's what we'll do next time. I think that's it for me. So I'm back Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So Lachlan, that's the middle of the night for you. Am I sticking to streaming every Tuesday evening? So far, yeah. Oh, well, let me change my time, man. Or let's connect offline and figure out what works because, yeah, I think we're both streaming very similar content. So, yeah, having it spaced probably makes sense. Let's chat. I'll message you on Twitter. All right. That's it for me tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Short and sweet. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. It's down in the right below there. TO Mobile Devs. That's YouTube as well. And then you can also find us on, or you can find me personally on at Dilbot9000 on Twitter. Have a good night, everybody. And I will see you on Saturday or maybe Friday, depending on what happens. Enjoy the rest of your week.